Here we're coming at you with our first impressions on the Jordan Tatum 1. I got a good feeling about these things. Let's roll. Welcome back to our channel, guys. As you can see, we're checking out Jayson Tatum's first shoe to release with Jordan brand, the Jordan Tatum 1. The Tatum 1, the design on these, is so clean. Honestly, I want to say I saw some controversial opinions kind of on the design whenever they were first leaked. Some people didn't like, this kind of rise to the side that they got going on here. I'm not sure what it's entirely supposed to be. Chase, what do you think about the design on the Tatum 1s?
I don't know. Overall, I love the colorway.
The colorway, yeah, that's a perfect segue. So Jayson Tatum's actually from St. Louis. That's right near my hometown. So shout out, repping from the hometown St. Louis Cardinals, all that. My family actually moved to St. Louis and has been living there over the past, or had been living there over the past, kind of few years. So kind of hits close to home. I really do love Jayson Tatum. A bunch of my friends went to go see him in high school too, so there's some type of connection there. He's obviously on to bigger things. So as far as like the Jordan Tatum 1 goes, this is his first shoe to release, or his first, I think Jordan brand's like having all these athletes get started now. You got the Zion 1, I guess the 2s are out now. Luka 1s just came out, so Jordan's really starting to hit you pretty hard with just some more signature athletes coming out with shoe lines. We review basketball shoes, so obviously we love that. Before we get into shoes anymore, I'll bring you back in here. Chase, what kind of merch, what kind of socks we rocking today?
Today we're rocking with some baller socks right
Ooh,
there.
baby.
And as well, a baller X shirt, guys.
That
So go check them out on our website.
Links in bio. We got a few different designs out there. Make sure you go and look at those. But as far as the appearance goes on these, I thought that they were super clean. The colorway is like the St. Louis colorway, so I thought that was nice. But I mean, Jordan brand, they've been putting out some pretty nice models. I mean, the Luka 1 was like an amazing start to a signature shoe, and that's always like, you want to make a statement with your first model. You want to come out. I mean, and they kept it at a pretty decent price, only 120 bucks. So like, that's $10 more than the Luka 1. It's like $5 less than the Zion 1, I think. It's right there with the Zion, but I mean, they look good, but we're here to see how they play. Let's do it. All right, so now getting on the court, kind of seeing how these feel from more the performance side. Before we do that, bring it down here. What do we think about the JT1 so far? That's not what they call it. It's the Tatum 1. I think JT1 would have been cool, but what do you think about the appearance, Chase?
Honestly, I am liking it a lot. I'm a little concerned though with this upper.
Just because it's thin?
It's like got that fly wire, it's a little transparent.
So, I mean, that's, now he's really starting to get into breaking it down. I mean, they feel light. That's one of the first things I noticed when I took them out of the box, is just how light this shoe just feels to play in. And as you can see, this is our first impression, so I haven't done like all the research as far as like what's being used within the shoe yet. So, I mean, I always go back in and do that. That'll come out in a week or two. But as far as the first impressions go, we start off talking about the cushioning. Ooh, man, these feel great out of the box. Like some shoes, you could tell it's gonna be more responsive, something a little bit softer. These feel like they got almost like, we're gonna miss the first shot of the day. These feel like they got some bounce. And honestly, oh my gosh. Honestly, Jordan brand is known for that. The Zion 2 had like baby bounce. Had a little bit in the forefoot. Honestly, the Why Not, there we go. Honestly, the Why Not 6s had a little bit of spring in the forefoot. The Luka 1, they kept that, surprisingly, they kept that, pretty balanced. There we go. Surprisingly, they kept that pretty balanced. This shoe right here feels like they got like air pockets. I don't know if it tells you, I don't know if it says anything on the midsole about what they're using. Oh, I think I saw it on the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
Does it say something?
Zoom unit. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Dude, the whole setup, they made like a bunch of like cutouts. It definitely looks like a Jordan like a 34, 36, something like that they had been doing. So honestly, I like how they kind of feels like they took a few pieces from that shoe. But the support, that's a spot where I was a little bit nervous, just because like he said, the upper feels really thin. And like, that's not generally a concern on Jordan shoes. I will say the 37 though, the Jordan 37, the upper was a little bit too thin. This does have somewhat of a similar feel, but I'll bring you in here real quick before we get to the traction. This piece is gonna help with that. My biggest thing on the 37 was that side to side. Whatever this is, I'll look into it. Call it a wing. We'll call it a wing. Whatever this is definitely helps with that. And I should have told you this. This one you can see I got one left open. On this one I laced them all the way up just to see if there was any like, heel slippage. No, there's not. There's not, so that's a good thing. Before we get out of here, we always finish off with the traction. What's that setup look like?
Yeah, air zoom unit looks like in the four foot.
Well, we're talking about cushion.
Nice
Man.
little,
look at this. Look at this.
Dude, that's cool.
You can.
don't know about the transparent though.
The translucent outsole, honestly, normally means it plays well indoors. And I can tell, that's something I also check before I put them on my feet and start, you know, messing around on like a dirtier court. It feels like that translucent outsole is gonna feel really nice. Or like, at least for traction wise, like performance. I don't normally love to use that on an outdoor court before I take it indoors, just because sometimes you lose a little bit of that stickiness.
How's the sizing?
Well, yeah, that's the last thing we'll talk about. So sizing, somewhat of a narrow fit, not overly narrow, but it's not going to be wide. These I accidentally ordered a size 12 the first time. These fit a little bit closer to my actual size, but you still have a thumb's width left over for the length.
You got 10.5?
10.5, true to size, and like they run slightly on the bigger side, not like in a concerning way though, but there's some really promising just pieces about this model so far. I feel like the cushion has a better feel than, like, I want to say any shoe that I played in recently. I was high up on the Why Not 6s. Cushion feels good on these. Support, it's a light model. Traction should play well. I'm in. All right, that's gonna wrap up our first impressions on the Jordan Tatum 1. There's a lot of things about this shoe that excite me. Aside from the appearance alone, personally, I think they're clean, and this is the St. Louis colorway, like I said, so these are gonna hit a little bit closer to home. But early thoughts on the shoe, I mean, I have nothing bad to say. Super, super light model. I'm assuming the scale's gonna reflect that. The cushioning, you see, you got that air zoom, and you feel it. That's one of my favorite things. You really feel it in the forefoot, and the heel's not bad either. Support's gonna feel like it plays nice. Traction's got some potential. Man, I'm looking forward to testing these out indoors.
So Landon, this is the first signature shoe for Jayson Tatum. How does this line up compared to the other first signature shoes?
Ooh, okay, well, I'll keep it, comparing it to like Mellow Ball came out like fire, and that was one of my favorite shoes that I've ever played in. Luka 1s were nice, like I just said. We got the Ja 1s, I'm ordering those soon. But like, these stack up as good or better as anything that I've played in recently. This might be my favorite shoe that's released this year, but before I get into that, I'm gonna have to check them out indoors, kind of see how they play inside. That review will come out in about a week or two, be on the lookout. But that's gonna wrap up our first impressions on the JT1, on the Tatum 1 anyways. Until next time, peace.